start off with their Finest Kind IPA. Like I said in the beginning of the interview part of this episode, this was my first ever IPA. I remember when me and my friend first started it in college, when they were first trying craft beer. I thought it was so bitter, it was like ripping the enamel off my teeth. But now it's like one of my go-to session IPAs. But I actually haven't had this in quite a while, so it's good to refresh like that.
Especially if you drink a lot of other stuff. This is the Flagship. This is over 45% of what we brew at the brewery is this beer. After I spent a good day or two at the brewery, you can smell. I mean, when you go into a bar and you get a pint of this, it smells like the brewery.
It's very floral and piney. It's not as much citrus as I thought it was.
Yeah. I think you get a lot of the citrus in the flavoring.
Some good citrus at mid-palate. For me, it's more the floral, but the hops in here, at least the Magnum is a very clean bittering hop, I know. The Simcoe Centennial Amarillo are pretty citrusy. But
I find, the beers, our beers in general. Now, I love this beer. This beer is why I work for this brewery. That's my favorite beer. But I find Smuttynose beers in general to be very clean across the board, and also dry. Like even our sweet beers have a dry quality about them.
The hops do dry your palate.
Yeah.
Not too much, but
yeah, that's nice and boom.
I think it's a pretty balanced IPA for a hop lover like me, but it is pretty bitter. I don't know if I would give this to like someone who hasn't tried an IPA before, because it's 75 IBUs and not like 60. But it's definitely a pretty nice beer. So with the hoppier beers, I picked a medium cheddar because I knew we'd be trying a few different hoppy beers, and the third one we'll get to will go better with a medium cheddar than a really sharp cheddar. So we each take a piece of cheddar cheese and see how it pairs with the beer now that we wet our palates with the beer. I think it goes pretty well. The cheese is pretty strong, but
Well, it's a good thing because the flavor of the beer is strong as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, I love this beer. Mm-hmm. We have a couple of new full-time brands coming around next year. Beginning in March, we're gonna start doing a session IPA called Bouncy House.
Yeah, I saw that on your website today. What's that about?
It's it's a low ABV hoppy session ale. We just had the prototype come through. There were very, very little of it. There were about 6 to 10 sixtels, I think, that hit New York City. And again, it's like super dry, like never-ending dryness on the back end. We're gonna have a third prototype coming out, and I think Dave Yarrington, our brewer, felt that it was a little bit too dry, and he wanted to dial that back a little bit, and also get, I think the ABV was about 4.9. He wants to get it down to about 4.3, so that you can drink a lot of it.
I mean, I think that's been a big thing in craft beer nowadays, is session IPAs.
Oh yeah.
I've tried some really good ones.
Which ones do you like?
I like they're actually pale ales, but the Green Flash has one called 30th Street Pale Ale, which is awesome, and then Ballast Point has one called Even Keel.
Was that a pale ale?
Yeah. They just have so much hop flavor. That's what I like about these session IPAs. Session pale ales, like 4%. Like they pack in so much juicy, citrusy hop flavor without too much bitterness.
Yeah, they all use the Citra. Have you had the Daytime? That Lagunitas beer? That beer is great. You know, some of the session IPAs that I've had that people put out, I find them to be a little bit too astringent. They have a hard, you know, it's very hard to balance that hop flavor with the low malt. So they tend to be a little bit soapy. You know, and we're really working hard on eradicating that flavor from our beer. And hopefully, if all goes right, we're going to be canning it as well.
Nice.
We have a deal in place with Wachusett, the brewery that's up in Ipswich, Mass, which is just south of where our brewery is in New Hampshire. But there's a law in the book that says we can't send tankers across state lines, so we're trying to get them to change the law.
A lot of breweries are moving to canning now.
Yeah.
You know, I think Ballast Point recently started canning.
I think it's excuse me, it's you know, certain times of the year, that's what people seek out.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to throw a 6-pack of cans into a bag, go hiking or boating or whatever you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
than just carry bottles around.